right. Welcome, Stefan.
Morning.
Let's set the scene a bit. It's Wednesday, the 7th of December, 2022. Next week, we're heading off on a company-wide offsite to what is for now still a secret location. But a lot of the people that are joining on that offsite only joined ProjectiveGroup quite recently. So let's give them some context on how we all came together. From what I understand, it all started with the launch of Projective, a company that you founded a long time ago already. So let's start with that. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Actually, Peter, it's tomorrow exactly 16 years ago.
All right.
So tomorrow we're going to celebrate our birthday, our 16th birthday.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a bizarre day for me 16 years ago to go to the notary and drop all of your savings into a bank account of the company.
I can imagine.
Was a bit of a bizarre feeling, exciting times. But the background actually was that I had a background coming from Capco. Capco, for some that may know or have been around in this industry long enough, it's a company that mainly focused on consulting within the capital markets industry. This was in the old days. In the meantime, the company has evolved as well. And what Capco did was very heavily focused on consultancy assignments, so typical consultancy assignments. What do I mean by that? It's really more analysis, business cases, that type of assignments, shorter term assignments, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then you move on to another client.
Yeah.
And my feeling was that the short intervals of these projects didn't allow us to really build up a very strong relationship with the client. And it also didn't go into the final delivery and end results. It was usually an advice, it was a business case, but then the actual thing had to be put in motion, and that's where we were not involved. So that is actually the starting position of Projective when we launched 16 years ago. We wanted to be more involved in the actual delivery, the hardcore boots in the mud type of stuff. And we started off taking on typical project management, program management roles, but only within that financial services sector. It's been always our industry, it's always been our network, so it was a logical choice to start off in that industry. And I still believe that it's the right choice to be really focused in one specific area and not go broader than and can serve all of these sectors, because then you really step into the area of any big four consultancy that is out there. So we really wanted to have a very niche focus in the financial industry. Started off on a number of large bank assignments, the typical big banks in Belgium, but also very quickly also in the Netherlands. So started off in the Netherlands at ING, then ABN AMRO, and a number of others. And so very quickly we realized that the Belgian market, with all due respect for the Belgian financial industry, it's still a very small market. So if we wanted to grow and really expand our footprint, we had to go international. And that's, I think, a second very good choice that we made to, from day one, focus on international expansion and go for a European footprint. So obvious choice beginning was the Netherlands, very short by, same language. But then after a few years, we went across the channel into the UK, which has definitely been a challenge because it's a different market. You need to have local resource colleagues to work with. It's a very competitive market, so it wasn't easy in the beginning to build up the network. But once you reach a certain size, and we've seen that with all of the locations, actually, it starts to grow organically. But it's getting to that first footprint, that first size of 20, 25, 30 people in a certain location, and then you see that it really takes off. So that gradually evolved. We were all getting older. So up to a point that 10 years passed, we reached a size in different locations, Belgium, Netherlands, UK. We reached a certain size of 100 plus. was a nice footprint, was a nice list of very interesting clients.
Just for timeline purposes, when was this? Around which year was this?
So I would say after about 10 years.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 2015, 14, 15, 16. We reached the 100 plus mark, which for us was a very big milestone, of course. But what we created then at that point in time was a company where we had a lot of very senior profiles. So it was completely the reverse of what we see in Big Four. So very senior profiles, but hardly any junior talent. And with the growth of the company, we also got more and more demand from our clients to be involved in larger assignments and to also mobilize bigger teams on specific assignments. And so that actually led us to a more strategic discussion on how can we get more young talent on board and how can we train them up, because the problem was that we were really struggling to find and attract very senior top talent in the market. We had at that point in time 100 plus very senior top talent on board. But if you really wanted to scale this and grow further, the conclusion was that we needed to invest more in young talent. So that's fast forward going into 18, 19. We started to invest actually in bringing young talent on board. And we very quickly came to the conclusion that actually the Big Four, they definitely got it right in the sense that if you want to invest in young talent, you need to really nurture them. You need to coach them. You need to define a model on how to train them, how to really create professionals. And they typically have the universities, the academies, the entire setup to support young talent, and we didn't have that. And we very quickly came to the conclusion that if you really want to do this right, we need to build it up or potentially look for a partner that can help us with that. And that's resulted into 2019 in the partnership with Excellis, that in the end then resulted in an acquisition at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And what Excellis brought to the group is that really niche expertise in how to support and develop young talent to become really professional. Because what we see, unfortunately, in a lot of these universities, especially in Belgium, is that it's still very theoretical and unfortunately not practical enough. And that's exactly the bridge that we need to make to turn young talent into real professionals. And so what Excellis brought to the table is exactly that expertise. And ever since, we have been bringing on board young talent through the Excellis model into the Projective Group, to develop them as real consultants and to support them still with the coaching and the training programs of Excellis. And that actually was a very nice combination. It's a first, taste or flavor of an acquisition that we've done, or a bigger acquisition that we've done with Projective. We've done a few very small ones in the past, but nothing very important to mention here. But this was really a different ball game. So all of a sudden we had another 150 colleagues that joined our group, which was a major step for us, especially in Belgium. But it led to the conclusion that if we really want to accelerate and reach our goal and ambition, and our goal and ambition from day one has always been that we want to be the number one shop. When we talk about change in the financial service sector, we want to be the number one brand and name that pops up at any client in the financial sector. That's our goal. That's our ambition. I'll come to that later on in a minute when we talk about the strategy and the growth plans, etc. But the conclusion for us was that with Excellis, we saw that through acquisitions, we could really put a turbo or an acceleration on our growth. And that actually resulted in 2021 in a partnership with GIMF. GIMF as a private equity investor or VC. They support us in our buy and build strategy. So believe in our story, believe in our ambitions. And we very quickly, after signing the partnership deal with GIMF, we started looking around on the market. What are the potential interesting parties that can help us realize our dream?
Yeah.
And for us, what is very important in realizing our dream, or what are the parties that we're looking for? What we're looking for is experts in a specific area in the financial services sector. We want to be the best in class in a very specific niche. So it's financial services sector, but within that financial services sector, there are a number of areas that are extremely hot. I think by accident almost, we came across a company called DT Squared in London. And DT Squared is a company that is specialized purely in the area of data governance, data architecture, data strategy, data modeling, data tooling, but again, purely in the financial services sector. So that is a very beautiful niche area that we definitely believe in and that our clients are in desperate need for.
Yeah.
So we said, this is a perfect piece of the puzzle, and we always refer to it as our puzzle that we are creating. And with DT Squared, we entered into a partnership and an acquisition in the summer of 2021, which again was an acceleration to our growth plan, especially then here in the UK, because in the UK we are adding now 100 pure data experts to our Projective family. So you don't plan for all of these acquisitions. Very quickly, we again stumbled across a company, but then in the Netherlands this time, called Mastermind. And Mastermind is a company that actually specialized in the pension insurance industry. And pension insurance industry in the Netherlands is very big business. And the Dutch market, or the Dutch pension market, is extremely big. I think a lot of countries can be very jealous about the pension industry in the Netherlands. And so there are some very big players that need some support. And the support that they need is to help with the transition from the existing pension model that will go into a new pension contract, as they call it in the Netherlands. It's an evolution that will be implemented in the coming 3, 4, 5 years, and will require massive support to do this right. Yeah. So we said, okay, this is again a very niche area where we need to build up our expertise, where our financial services clients are in need for talent, not only young, but also senior talent. Yeah. So again, it was a very nice piece of the puzzle. And it also helped with the further expansion of our footprint then in the Netherlands this time. So we have in Belgium then an expansion with Excelis footprint in Belgium. In the UK, we had DT Squared, again, footprint expansion. And now we're also expanding into the Netherlands. So gradually our puzzle is growing. Yeah. And only 3 or 4 months later, again, we stumbled across a company in the Netherlands.
Yeah, good place to be when it comes to the financial industry.
It's a good place to be, and it's definitely also a bigger market. Yeah. Next to the banks, you have also these pension insurers and also some very big normal insurance companies. And so we stumbled across a company called Enigma. And what Enigma brought to the table was their expertise in the area of payments. Payments also, again, a very big business worldwide, especially also in Europe with PSD2, open banking, etc. And so also here we see a very big transformation ongoing with ISO 20022, the new migration of the new standard. All activities that will require expert support. Yeah. And again, it's that expertise that we want to bring into our group. Yeah. So we have data, we have young talent. We now had pension insurance. We're now adding the payments expertise. Yeah. And together with the expertise that we had already built up on the Projective side, because we had already quite a substantial team of experts from a payments point of view, we're now having in our group almost 100 experts in that specific area. Yeah. And that is really what makes us, from our point of view, very unique. Yeah, it's a force to be reckoned with, basically. Indeed, indeed. And just to complete the picture then, again, 4 or 5 months fast forward, we again came across a company in the Netherlands. By the way, we're going to stop now in the Netherlands for some time. For because a while. And so we came across a company called Charco & Dijk. And what Charco & Dijk brought to the table is their expertise in the area of risk and compliance. again, a very important area where our clients need support, because risk and compliance is a never-ending story. There's always new regulations coming up. There's always new reporting. We now have ESG coming around the corner that will also require some support and transformations.
Yeah.
So we also saw there a very nice add-on to our puzzle, and a group of experts that we could bring into our group.
Yeah.
So you see there's a certain logic behind, well, all of these acquisitions. Yeah. Our strategy is not just to acquire to become bigger. That's not the goal. Our strategy is to acquire to become better and better at serving our clients. And if we can do this by adding more expertises to our group, then I think we're on the right path.
Yeah.
So it's not only a geographical expansion, because now we have footprints in the UK, around 200 people, same in the Netherlands, same in Belgium. But we also are adding now expertise from a niche knowledge area point of view.
Yeah, yeah. So I think to conclude this part, to see how we ended up here as ProjectiveGroup now, I think it's really good to see that we're talking about acquiring companies, growing companies, but it's still the very heart of it is still the people who do the actual work. So that hasn't changed, not at all. So to all those people who are watching this video, and I hope almost all of you will, I'm very much looking forward to working together with you guys and building the next chapters of ProjectiveGroup, which we are going to talk about in a separate video. So stay tuned for that one.